Do you have a brilliant startup idea but are stuck in the launching phase? Are you feeling overwhelmed by funding, marketing, or just where to start? Don't let your startup idea stay grounded. Visit our website at eapla.com to schedule a Blue Couch meeting and launch your startup journey today.
Welcome back to On The Cusp. Got my co-host Matt Snyder back with me, but we got a lot going on today, and this is exciting because we've never had this many doctors, okay, on a show before. I'm a little worried.
I know, 3 doctors, new set. We'll see if we can pull this off.
Absolutely.
You will.
So I'm really excited about this because I've known of this company for a long time, and I think it's a really exciting thing. It's something I'm really into. So we have Natalia Luraguiz, Victoria Luraguiz, and Elise Kowalewski that are working a company called Wellness by Natalia that's really kind of changing how people look at medicine. And I think it's really something exciting to do. So thank you all for coming.
Yes, well, thank you so much for having us. We're like super excited to be here and sharing our story to inspire other business to be doing the same than us or join our practice.
So tell us, what is it y'all are doing?
So pretty much we started a concierge medical practice. So we offer personalized health care to our patients. Our appointments are like 60 minutes long. So we sit with our patient. For that time, we offer lab work in-house, EKGs. We do our vascular screening, calcium score, biomarkers, and we offer something that is a little bit different than other practices that is called longevity. Actually, my sister, Victoria, who is younger than me, brought this beautiful concept. I know. I was thinking I don't need to clarify that. That's why I was like, should I say it? Should I not? Actually, I'm younger, but I'm 42, and she's on her 30s, and she brought all this concept of longevity that is so amazing, that is like pretty much how to decrease your chronic inflammation, how to decrease your cortisol levels, and start living a longer life with a better quality of life.
I love that idea of going to a doctor and building that relationship when you're okay.
Yes.
Instead of only going to the doctor and like when something's wrong.
Yes.
There's a book out. The name of it is going to come to me. I only read the first chapter. It scared me, okay, because it's basically turning medicine around. Okay.
It's really cool.
And focusing on the things you ought to be doing now so that you can live longer.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. And Shreveport is a beautiful town, and actually this concept of concierge medicine was brought to Shreveport maybe more than 20 years ago by a doctor called Emily McCarthy. She actually left Shreveport and gave her company to another concierge doctor that is my mentor, who is Dr. Rick Michael, who also has a concierge practice here in Shreveport. And I was working in Baylor, Texas. I was seeing 35 patients per day. I had like 5 minutes per encounter. The computer was clocking me in and clocking me out. I was covering nurse practitioners and PAs and doing home health and doing a lot of other things. So I was multitasking a lot. And the quality of care that I was giving was, to me, really poor, because the thing that brought me to medicine, with my dad being a doctor, my grandfather being a doctor, my uncle, my aunt, my sister, everyone, we're all doctors, was like to have that personal relationship with the patient, to offer that safe space to that patient, to connect with you and to tell you what is truly going on. But concierge medicine in Shreveport then was more offered to the geriatric population. Mm-hmm. And when I joined...
A little late for what we're doing.
Exactly, like for what we wanted to do, right? It was a little late to get, when that patient comes on the wheelchair, or that patient comes on oxygen, or that patient needs that hospice care and you want to personalize it for your loved one. It was beautiful, to do it, and I still do it today in my practice, because I treat my patient until the last day. And that's because I connect so well with all those families.
Well, you're obviously really passionate about your practice and what you're offering on that. Why Shreveport?
Yeah.
Well, the reason why Shreveport is besides me, because it was a higher power, you know. I'm, of course, not from Shreveport. I'm from Argentina. You know, when I was 8 years old, I didn't wake up and say, I want to be a doctor in Shreveport, Louisiana, you know? And I'm going to have 3 beautiful kids in Shreveport, Louisiana. It wasn't like that, but, you know, actually Argentina went through a huge economic crisis. My dad is a doctor, and LSUS, the hospital hired my dad as a radiologist. He brought my sisters and my mom with him, and he brought me as well after I finished medical school in Argentina. And LSU opened the doors to all our family, you know, so we believe it's our family as well to become citizens and to be able to provide medical care to the people that needed it the most.
And you're really investing in the community.
Yeah.
That's really
I
great.
am, and I embrace this community a lot, you know.
So my big thing is like keeping Shreveport caught up with the things that are happening in bigger cities.
Yes.
Whether it's from a cultural standpoint, a restaurant, or a care standpoint. And the biggest thing, Dave always is talking about how we drive jobs. And my argument is if you don't have the things people want in the community, they're not gonna move for a job if they can't have the care they want or the restaurants they want or whatever. So I think it's really cool. Talk about the struggles though of bringing something that's a newer concept into a market the size of ours. I mean,
we didn't have any struggles, you know. I feel like once you realize how successful your connections are with your community and you give back to the community, and you like, you know, like my kids go to St. Joseph's School and all the parents support my practice. My other kid goes to Loyola and we support Loyola. So they come to my practice. Then Miss Mary has a great experience. Actually, you know, the way that I met Elise was because I took care of her mom. And like, you know, she had a beautiful experience and she shared it with her friends and her friends came to my practice. And I'm so grateful and blessed, like for real, that these people trust me. And they trust me with their kids, and they trust me with their loved ones, and they trust me with their wife and their husbands. I have more males than females because there is
so
a
your
lot
practice
of...
sees more males than actually females?
Well, in my personal practice, like myself, maybe, I don't know, Vicky and Elise, but there is a huge group between the age of 25 to 45 on males that is ignored in the medical care, you know? And what I noticed when I joined the practice that brought me to Shreveport, actually, is that all these young people was coming to me, people on their 20s, in their 30s, in their 40s, in their 50s, and none of them had any medical issues. And I was like, this is the population I need, so I can avoid the heart attack, so I can avoid the stroke, so I can avoid the diabetes, so I can avoid the metabolic syndrome, so I can keep them healthy, and I can offer them the longevity that they want.
Okay, let's talk about this. I watched this crazy show the other night on the Venmo guy.
Yes.
I think it's called Don't Die.
Oh, Brian Johnson.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Brian Johnson. So this guy's like made a fortune selling Venmo, and he's basically said his whole life, his goal is to not die. But he's taking like hundreds of pills a day. And okay, so how do you balance something that's actually doable in a person's life and really make a difference in how long you live? Is that a real thing?
I think that's a great opportunity for these two beautiful ladies to start talking and start introducing to the idea of longevity and the beautiful first certified peptide clinic in Shreveport, Louisiana, and in North Louisiana that we just started.
Okay, so what is a peptide clinic?
So peptides are a natural substance found in your body. They're strands of amino acids. Like if you picture like little amino acids on a strand of pearls in a very specific arrangement. So basically it's like a mini protein, and they all have very specific roles in your body. And our bodies make these. But as we get older, you kind of decline the amount we make. So we can kind of meet with the patient, figure out what their needs are, and kind of customize their health care based on exactly what they need. Like if they are having sleep issues or decreased muscle mass after rapid weight loss from being on a GLP-1, anxiety, or there's some just for if you feel great, but like, hey, I want to live longer and have a better health span. I mean, everybody wants to live long, but you want to like be healthy when you live long. You don't want to be.
You want to have quality
So
of
this
life.
helps, keep your cells as healthy as possible. So, and they're great. I mean, it's just kind of like the future of medicine, really. I mean.
So
Yeah.
you build,
Like, gives you the-
you test for their
Or you just-
peptide string and say you're deficient here, and
Not
here?
necessarily, no. You kind of talk to them and you find out their needs and you customize their peptide regimen therapy based on what their needs are.
Yeah, the idea, so we've been able to basically pattern over like 2,000 molecular pathways in the body. So the idea is simply to get your body and your cells doing what they already naturally do. So really, kind of what Natalia and Elise are talking about is kind of finding that space, that niche that we're really catering to, which is moving away from reactive healthcare towards sort of proactive screening and proactive healthcare. And kind of what we're trying to sort of create and really create a culture of wellness, right? Where we're moving away from that sick healthcare system into a true healthcare system. And that's kind of what we're calling sort of wellness 3.0, right? I think, generations ago, it was sort of that paternalistic relationship between the physician and the patient, where it was, well, this is what you have to carry out. And that's something that is very difficult to really do because we only wait until we're sick in order to really kind of follow those steps. Because that's truly when health becomes a conversation until we don't have it. And what we're trying to do here is sort of apply concepts that fall under the category of regenerative health medicine, which is peptides, sort of stem cells, exosomes, all of those sort of kind of big words in culture right now, right?
And also we do fun stuff. We also offer spa services, right? So when you come to our clinic, we're a one-time stop. We can do like your Botox treatment. We have invested a lot of resources. We did a partnership with a company called InMode. So we have like machines that are like the best quality in the country. We are actually the first clinic in Louisiana presenting the technology of Optimas. InMode Louisiana has done that with us in one of our events at the Remington. We have a lot of healthy partnerships, and the difference with us is I feel like we embrace other things in Shreveport. Like we have partnership with the Remington Hotel, and we have partnership with like Glow, and we have done meal prep with Glow, and we have partnership with things that we believe. Like, my own hypnotherapist, Kim, that is amazing, is now in the practice. We have a concierge physical therapy, concierge occupational therapy, from all the beautiful relationships that we are creating in Shreveport. We have.
So y'all talk about, because I want to make this really simple for people, and I'm not that smart, so I like things simple. And the thing that Elise has told me before that I really get and was in that show is the deal about how much your body's aging each year. So this guy's gotten his body down to where he's aging 0.62 of a year. So when he is a year on Earth, when he turns his birthday, his body's only aging 60% of
chronological age and
so
biological age.
How does that work? Because that sounds awesome.
Yeah, I know.
It's the difference between our biological age
and your chronological age. So if you're, metabolic syndrome or heart disease, your chronological age, your biological age is a lot ahead of you see somebody who's, or we do I'm 55, but they look 75. Well, why? And then you see somebody who's 55 and you would think, oh my gosh, look like they're in their 30s. What's the difference, right? It's their biological age. And it's obviously genetics is a big part, but epigenetics is a huge part. And that's where we can come in and help
so
with
the peptides and having the right vitamin mix and all
the supplements.
Can change that.
Yeah.
So I could
100%.
come in and you'd be like, okay, Matt, you're aging at 1.2 right now. And then we work to change that.
Oh, yeah. And you can see objective changes.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
to me,
yes.
I'm a marketing guy.
Yeah,
to me, that's all I need to hear. That should be on our billboard.
And there's a lot of
I know.
It seems to me a lot
Age slower.
A lot of people my age, and I'm over 60. Okay, you're treating things, okay, all the time. But I'm to the point now to where, look, I don't want to just treat this. I just want it all done at one place.
So Dave
Yes.
always tells me,
Yeah.
I've come in some days and been like, Dave, I'm feeling so old. And he always says, don't let the old man in.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
that's
that
Dave. And
is
I
my
live
thing.
by that, Dave.
Yeah,
I love
I do
that you
not.
told me that. Don't let the old
Yeah.
man
It's
in.
a good mentality.
They are really able
Oh,
to
yeah.
not let the old
Yeah,
man
yeah,
in from
absolutely.
a physical
Absolutely.
standpoint.
And actually, with wellness, we approach it in a holistic way where we do a lot with the body, we do a lot with our physiological health, but we also do the emotional component that is offering that safe
So
space.
do you have a mental
That-
health piece of this too? Because a lot of it's got to be mental.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, we
absolutely.
do. We offer
Yeah.
those resources, but most of the time is us. Like
The
just
time you
doing that
spend.
relationship in that hour, you create a lot of opportunity for things to come out and for just the patient to have a safe space to say their feelings, and especially for males, I think that is really important because they have not only the stress of being a provider, but also sometimes, that
The-
thing
the
of
macho
not
the
expressing,
macho thing.
yes,
We don't know about
not
that.
expressing feelings.
Yeah,
And females, we are more like
Right.
up and down.
Yeah,
so for
yeah.
us, it's like having our safe space is
Right.
really important as well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think for both Natalia and I, we grew up in families where even before there were genomics and all these fancy names to things, there was a huge emphasis on kind of the importance of alignment of like mind, body, spirit axis, for lack of another word, right? Or term. And I think that's kind of what we try to implement in our practice as well. What's now maybe kind of a more holistic approach. I think both Natalia and I saw that from very early on in our careers that we were simply saying, oh, this symptom, that symptom, this syndrome. But rather, I think we both saw a need in really focusing on the person we had in front of us. And I think kind of our practice really puts an emphasis on what are the small things that we can do on a day-to-day basis. So in between the time that we see each other again, we are working on building that stronger access. And that's really what's made the biggest impact.
That's really
Yeah,
It is huge
Yeah.
because
We
most of the
do.
time you go to
Yeah.
the doctor and you
Yeah.
don't see him again for 6 months until
Yeah.
something else is wrong.
We see our
Yeah.
patients every 90 days
Yeah.
because
Okay.
we follow their
Yeah.
steps and we have machines that can also show their numbers. Like
Right.
we were talking
Yeah.
about your
Yeah.
muscle and
Yeah.
we were talking about your biological age.
Now that's
and
got
we
to
were
be a big
talking,
piece with everybody on GLP-1s
Yeah, like the
now.
in-body
and the
deal
loss
y'all
of
have.
body
Yes.
mass.
I
'Cause,
love
you know,
the in-body.
The thing that
we
worries
love the
me,
in-body.
Absolutely.
you know,
We do.
is when
Yeah.
you start losing all that body mass, okay, your
muscle.
balance is off.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah,
So
muscle
you're
loss is
now,
major.
they say if you're over 60 and you
Yeah.
fall, 1/3 probability, 33% probability, you will not recover.
Correct.
Okay, and I can't
Yeah.
quote that
Right.
exactly.
I love
but-
those kind of steps. Like I saw
Yeah.
something
Right.
that it was something like 70% of people will never sprint after their 30th birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm out sprinting all the
Yeah.
time. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna sprint till I'm 90.
Yeah.
I'm not going
This is
down
very
without
true.
sprinting every day.
Yeah,
lose
yeah.
muscle
I
every
love those
decade.
kind of
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So
No,
you
there's a
know,
lot on that.
for especially and for the target market you're talking about, they're not focusing on core strength, right? They're focusing on everything else. You lose the core strength, you fall, you break your shoulder,
scary.
you're out of commission
Yeah.
for a year.
Yes, and
Okay.
that's one of the true diseases that we will see coming. That is the lack of muscle, the osteopenia, the osteoporosis, the sarcopenia. How that affects your cardiovascular health. How that affects like your risk to have a fracture. Like most of our patients above 85 that we have, they die because of a fracture
Yeah.
or they die because of a fall because they had a brain bleed, right? So how we can make these people be aware, yes, it's great that you're working in your BMI, but let's don't forget that we have all these other things that are your longevity markers. That is
And
why we're
tracking it.
doing our social campaign, that we do the grip strength to see who has the strongest patient.
Yeah.
We do it as a
Yeah.
joke,
But it's fun.
But actually
Yeah, I
it's
love
fun
it.
because your
we should've
grip
brought it from
strength
that
is
too.
one of your
Yeah.
longevity markers, right?
Right.
So, and our patients are super competitive and they are like, oh, let me, and
Right.
if someone beat
They
me,
wanna continue
someone,
to compete.
yes,
I love
they
that.
want to
Absolutely.
continue to
Absolutely.
stay healthy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
another thing, is I feel like what Vicky was saying about us really believing on that spiritual higher power, something that keeps your business running. And I think in Shreveport or in Argentina or in China, is be yourself and be honest,
Yes.
Like if you can be honest, and, I didn't lie to my patient today when they called me and they said, hey, could you please help me with this? No, I have a podcast. I can see you this time. I'm so sorry. I apologize, but I was honest. If I would have said something that wasn't true, then we are in a small community that comes out. So I feel like us.
That's so interesting with new business owners.
Yes.
Because new business owners are trying to figure it out and like trying to make it go down this one slot. And most of the time it doesn't go down that first, like how you have it figured out.
Yes.
When I agree totally. When you figure out that you're just going to do the right thing,
Yes.
it just works out.
Well,
Do
patients
the right
appreciate you being
thing,
yourself,
and then everyone else,
Right.
and everything else, because of that higher power, I feel, it works.
It works.
It works
I
for
agree
us.
totally.
It works, and it keeps working. And we have, our beautiful Google reviews, and we have beautiful stories that our patients share that we don't ask them to share. We have patients in New York. We have patients.
Really?
Yes, we have patients
So
in
y'all have a
Washington,
virtual practice
D.C.
too, anybody.
We have
so
New
where does
Mexico,
somebody
Florida.
find you? I mean, I'll bet referrals is your number one
Yes.
way of getting patients.
Yes.
But somebody that watches this podcast, how do they find you guys?
Well, I think that you can find us on Facebook. You can go into our wellness website. We do have the best advertising company in the country that is run by my life partner. So actually, that was kind of a joke. But I
I'm just trying to
believe
think.
he
Well,
is.
Natalia, he's second best.
No, actually, he's the best. He's the McCarthy Companies, who we all love, who is actually from Shreveport.
Oh, really?
Yes, he's from Shreveport, graduated from Loyola. He's a successful, beautiful, wonderful business person that we all love and keep us all together.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he does Google search campaign for us and other things that he knows about.
Yeah.
And we just do our job, I mean, like, we just, like,
You focus on the medicine
You've
side.
always had
Yes.
beautiful marketing from the start.
No,
Your brand
thank
has
you.
always been
Yeah.
That's
so
good.
professional.
And that's
tight.
because
For
of
sure.
team.
Yeah.
That's because,
So what's next?
honestly-
Is there anything big? Y'all got another office, or what's
I'd love
next?
to go back to kind of what you mentioned about GLP-1, the data that is coming out, because virtually there's so many patients that are sort of, on that therapy. And what we see in the data is that half of that percentage of your weight loss is actually made of skeletal muscle mass, right, and lean body mass. And muscle, right, it's an extremely important part of longevity. So I think this is a great opportunity for you, Elise, to talk about why peptides are kind of the forefront of everything
Right.
we do right now.
Right. So like she's mentioned, your biggest predictor of longevity is your muscle mass. So it's like your health savings account. So yes, GLP-1s are peptides themselves, but if you aren't monitoring correctly and just going to a pop-in sidewalk weight loss clinic, they don't necessarily check that, right? But we do spend a ton of time with our patients educating, of course, diet, protein sources. We can monitor it through our in-body, and then there's some peptides that help you increase your lean body mass and improve your cell, function while you're on the GLP-1s. And there's one of the longevity peptides, but it's really helpful to prevent that too. So there's a lot of options we have there.
Yeah.
And we're
But
super
that's
proud
so
that
important.
we just
Right.
opened this peptide
Right.
clinic. That is the first one in
Yeah.
Shreveport, actually. It took us a lot of work. We had been on the talks with
Now,
the
does it
list.
help? Most people that go on the GLP-1s, they come off, they gain 30 pounds right back. Does that help them kind of even that out?
Correct.
some?
Yeah, and there's a lot of education we spend with patients on that. Like, there's some evidence about doing microdosing for longevity, because the GLP-1 is not just for weight loss; can be good for preventing Alzheimer's, heart disease, chronic inflammation in the joints. So we do a lot of things that are very progressive, and you don't have to go
Right.
to a big city
Yeah,
to find.
I even heard where they're looking at there's a a research study being done right now on GLP-1s for some addictions.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's a big,
that
Yeah.
they're looking at that.
Yeah.
We
Which is
help a
really-
lot with that.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good because I think, if there's another
Yeah.
treatment for that. Well, ladies,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
This is
guys.
exciting.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's come
Appreciate
visit
y'all
clinic
coming.
sometime.
Yeah.
And thank you. And good luck.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
time.
Yeah.
Enjoy the podcast? We would love your feedback about today's show and who you think should be our next guest. Send us an email at info@eapla.com. Also, be sure to share the show and leave a comment on our social media post.